So I'm going to restring my guitar that has a B50 Bigsby. What kind of strings am I going to use? With the Bigsby, you always hear people saying, oh, you got to use 10s or whatever. So here's a set of 11s. Yeah, I don't think so. Here's a set of 10s. This guitar might have came with 10s. No. 9s? Would that be okay? Well, let me tell you, I just took off a set of 8s. I had 8s on this guitar. It's got a 24 3/4 scale and a B50. And I had 8s on it and I didn't have any issues. You know, people saying, oh, you can't go lighter than a 10 or a 9 with a Bigsby. They never tried it. They're just talking through their, I don't know what they're talking through. But I'm going to try, I just took off some 8s. I'm going to try these mighty slinkies. A little bit bigger E string. The G is a 15. And the E is a 40. And I didn't get a lot of boing out of this. You know, when your strings are too light and you hit an E chord and it's like, boing. It didn't really do that. There's a lot of string tension with this setup. So I'm going to pass over the 9s. And I'm going to try these 8.5s. So it's just going to be a little, there's only going to be a couple strings that are heavier than what I took off. The E is going to be an 8.5. The G is going to be a 15. It was a 14. And the big E is a 40 as opposed to a 38. So if this worked, which it did on this particular guitar, it worked fine. This will work just fine. So that's what I'm going to put on there. So don't let people tell you what you can and cannot do. All right, always make sure that Bigsby's moving smoothly. I tightened this down a little bit. It was like pulling on the spring a little too much. It would be going like this off the spring. Get the spring in there. Always make sure you, a Bigsby will not stay in tune if it doesn't move smoothly. If the bridge is like, it helps to have the bridge moving a little bit like that. And the roller saddles probably don't hurt at all. And of course, always do the string locking technique when you wrap your strings around the tuners. And I use powdered graphite in the nut after the nut's been polished with 800, 1200 sandpaper. And the powdered graphite works pretty good for me. And of course, stretch your strings. People don't know how to change strings, don't know how to stretch strings, and then they complain that they won't stay in tune. You know, there's so much information on YouTube. Look at the information I'm giving freely. But anyway, okay, let's get this baby strung up. And of course, you got to deal with the putting the ball ends on these little studs. So I usually go like this here. Twist it around something that's already round, about the same size. It's a little bit awkward, but it's not so bad. Okay, we're holding on to the string to keep it from falling off the Bigsby there. Always good to have the holes lined up. Here's how I do it. Always to the inside and bend it back. Bend it over the string. And it locks down onto itself. It's the locking method. All right. Rinse and continue. This is kind of awkward. See over here how I'm holding the string? Okay. Okay, here we go. It goes under. So it goes underneath the string. Then you just bend it. Bend it over. I hope you can see that. It's kind of awkward. It's very awkward, not kind of. And then, oh, gotta watch doesn't bend back. Oh, And if you ever hear anybody say you can't put 8s or 9s or 8.5s on a Bigsby, well, what do you think that Billy Gibbons uses? Some of his guitars have Bigsbys, 8s. And on his guitars that don't have Bigsbys, 7s. So put on whatever strings you like, because the Bigsby doesn't care if they're 8 or 12. You know, I find that when you put the strings on the guitar, as long as it doesn't boing, you hit it and the E string goes boing. And this had 8s on it and it didn't do that. But I just thought I wanted a little bit bigger E string, so that takes it up to a 40 from a 38. So I know I'm going to like these strings. I didn't even know these strings existed. You know, I didn't know that there was a string between the 9s and the 8s. Man, I'm just getting blindsided a lot lately. I mean, a little over, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I didn't know they made a Splattercaster. I had no idea till I saw one on Craigslist and bought it for $300 and sold it for like $800. And I didn't know these Sunset guitars existed. And I didn't know these strings existed. So I guess I'm not on top of things. But yeah, with the Bigsby, you can use 9s or 8s. Listen to that. Perfectly in tune. Well, it will be. And I know I'll like it because the 8s were really good on this. So the 8.5 will be perfect for me. Here I am at my powdered graphite. Get that in the slot. And then I don't want it to snap in. Sometimes I'll use the string to push it in. I don't know how I came up with this. But you got to be careful because it will stain things. I don't care if the nut gets a little bit of that on it. So now I'll make sure I get it all in the nut and lightly drop it in. Blow it off. And it's just that easy. And you can get this at a hardware store. It's just powdered graphite for like locks. But this stuff is slippery. Whoa, don't drop it, blockhead. Just like that, powdered graphite.